Welcome back to the Evolve podcast. I'm Rhiannon.
And I'm your better host, Brendan.
All right, we'll leave it at that. But for now, pretty much what this podcast is all about is self-development, health and fitness, and our journey starting as brand new business owners.
Let's go. Make sure that you share this around because I'm telling you right now, this is the best podcast you've ever seen.
Enjoy, guys. Ciao. You focus on running, so you've niched down to running?
Yeah.
And what made you make that decision?
I've always loved running since I could walk, basically. And all my sports involved running.
Yeah.
So, I know, it's weird, right?
Perfect niche.
And then, as I sort of went through my studies and everything like that, back then there wasn't that many physios that were focusing a lot on running. Mm-hmm. And so I was treating a lot of just friends who were doing the running side of things, and I sort of just dived deeper into that, learnt more about it. And then, started to post content about running back in the days when socials wasn't as big. And then, sort of dive deeper, sort of networked with a lot more people to get better understanding about running, programming and strengthening, and then applying that into rehab. And it's just a puzzle. Everyone runs at different paces, different experiences, different technique. And it's like engineering one person to run well for themselves.
Yeah.
And it's just a constant Sudoku puzzle, basically. And that's why I like treating runners a lot more.
That's actually really interesting.
Yeah.
Because I was just thinking about the fact that you got runners trying to go for pace, trying to really go fast every single time they go for a run. Then you got the other side, which are runners that are just I'll just go easy and just go for a light little jog. But then they both still get injured.
Yes.
So how do you kind of dive in to find out what they're doing in their runs? Because I feel like not everyone's going to be open with, they know their times and their splits and all that kind of stuff.
Biggest thing is training history. How long have you been running for? What's your background to it all? I add them on Strava just to increase my following. And then that way I'm able to dive deeper into their data points.
Yeah.
So looking at say how much have they been running over the last month? Yeah. Elevation, time on feet, and then sort of break down those points of when did you get injured at what point, and then you sort of just work backwards to go, okay, maybe it's a training volume amount, or is it a technical, or is it your training age? Have you been running for a while? If not, okay, cool, you're maybe doing too much too soon. And then you may need a good base of strength, endurance to be able to do what you were trying to do.
Yep. Yes.
Versus someone who's a little bit more seasoned, it could literally be a small issue of just doing too much in a short amount of time, leading into a running event. And then that's why the tissue couldn't tolerate it, which is why they maybe got injured. And it could just be a small thing rather than a big thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you stalk all your clients on Strava?
I do. I do. Yeah. Sitting
It's
there
good.
at 11 p.m., I sort of just scroll through the data. And then when they come in next time...
Jenny's been running a bit too often this week. I guess I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Just let them roll and just let them play that massive spike in volume and go, I'll be waiting.
Yeah.
I'll see you soon.
As soon as they come in, you have all the evidence you need.
Yeah.
To just be well, you've done this.
Yeah. So it's good. Data is a great point to sort of just see what they're doing, especially if someone is new to running and doesn't understand the concept of slowly building up.
Yeah.
It's good to build those building blocks for running because a lot of people, myself, just go straight into running. They're like, oh, yeah, I used to run when I was a kid. I'll just go straight into it. Knee, ankle, all these things start popping up and you got to really regress it. Do you find that you see a lot of those people within your practice?
The ones that just go hard real quick. Yes.
The all-in approach.
The all-in approach. It's
they take a year. Sorry, they take a year off, and then they're like, "I'm just going to go for a 10K."
Yeah. I've had a few like that, and I'm just like, "Oh, why did you do a 10K?" Oh, because I could do it last year. I was like, "Oh, there's so many variances in between," and you just dive deeper to why and how you should approach it, rather than just go all in.
So you have a slight holistic approach to your physio
Yes.
realm.
Yeah. I do quite a fair bit. I dive into who they are, their external factors, not just hey, you come in for a knee pain as a runner. Cool, just jump on the bed. It's cool. Why are you running for? how long you've been running for, what shoes are you wearing, do you have stresses at work, do you eat well, like if you're a female, like do you have regular periods, all that stuff, because that all affects your performance and recovery, and then also their injury status as well. Yeah.
It's interesting because like we do that as personal trainers. We dive a lot deeper into their life because it helps us approach them in a different way when it comes to breaking down their routine, their program, and everything like that. Do you find that it's hard to shift their mindset into slowing down?
I think if you pitch it well, I think it's okay. It's sort of like you got to sell it to them in a long picture with a long game, basically, to go, okay, cool. If you just want to I think it goes to the 80-20 rule. It's like you got to give a lot of what they want, but subtly give them what you know works for them.
Yeah.
So it's like diving deeper to the why. Why do you want to run so fast, so quick? And if you could understand that, you could just like go, okay, cool. If you want to run 10Ks just because of mental health or whatever, do it. But approach it this way versus someone who's just like, I actually want to run long term, do a couple of marathons or events down the track. Then you're like, cool, let's just pull it back. Yeah. You've got the patience and and it works out better.
So you're minimizing that risk of injury for them, for the longevity, for the long term. With running, obviously there's a big mindset to running. It's not just like running 10K and ticking it off. There's discipline, there's the grind, all that stuff. Do you believe that can carry over into like business or personal life as well?
Yeah, huge. Like I use running these days as more of a vehicle to work on myself. So instead of chasing events these days, like I'm just, because I signed up to like Sydney Marathon and a Bondi to Manly Ultra, which is like 80Ks, but in a team relay.
Oh, man.
Oh, really?
Like, so it's
how does that work?
You have 4 legs, averaging about 20Ks each. So you have checkpoints. One runs to
like
another.
A little half marathon.
Yeah, yeah. And so with like the running side of things, it's like, cool, how do you navigate training? So your strategies that you develop, and how do you implement them into like your life? Whether it's like for work, whether it's for like relationships, whether it's like, what is it, for personal development. So like, for example, getting up at 5 a.m. to train. Cool. Sometimes it's cold. Sometimes you don't want to do it. But then it's like, cool. Sometimes at work, you don't want to do shit. And it's like, okay, cool. What are the strategies I could develop here to get up and then go for a run? So particularly now when it's colder, develop a strategy of having the clothes nearby, set it up the night before. So by the time you get up and out of bed, it's like there, you can just get dressed. Yep. You're somewhat warm from like your blankets, and then you're up and out. And then similar to work, cool, I don't want to do this task. Okay, cool. Let's find a strategy on what can I do to make this task more bearable. And that's like a strategy I sort of go about now with running. Yeah.
I like that. So it's like creating habits so it becomes really easy for you to just, okay, I see my clothes. If I just put them on, I'm ready to go.
Yeah. And then sometimes, like, because I don't have that much time to just detox, like I'll average about 5-6 hours of sleep. So it's like, cool, if I need to reply back to messages and I can't do it through the day, I'll wake up maybe 15 minutes earlier. I know that people go, phone isn't the greatest when you just wake up. I'm like, I have 15 minutes, that time in the morning, no one replies. So I just smash out all the messages, get up, get dressed, and then train. So it's like,
that's why you message us at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
I saw that come in. I was like, damn. This guy's
that's his 15-minute window right there.
Yeah. So it's like organizing time, for example, like with my 11th-month-old son, it's like, cool. How do I look after myself yet be present for the family? So wake up earlier. So then that way you get everything for yourself done first, and then you go up, wake up. So when you're finished with the run, they've just woken up. You could spend like that quality time with them before you organize to the next move, which is work. Yeah.
I like that.
Now, training for an ultra marathon, it takes a lot of time, a lot of dedication. Do you put a lot of time aside?
No.
How much time do you put into running?
I look into consistency. So it's like, and trying to work at things with minimum effective dose. So it's like, how minimum can I train to get maximum out of like recovery, but also the performance side of things. So yeah, I'll try to get like at the moment, because it's about 16 weeks away from like the marathon, and I don't know how long until the ultra, but it's like, cool, if it's 16 weeks and I know I can't train as much, I'll just minimum is like 2 training sessions a week. Whether it's 30 minutes to an hour, I'll just wake up and go by feel. And then as we get closer to the event, probably like 8 weeks, I'll just go, cool, I've prioritized everything before that's related to life. Now I'm just going to lock in.
Yep.
Might pump it up a little bit more in terms of still 3, but I'll non-negotiable 1 session to be a lot longer, just to get the mileage on the legs. Yeah.
I like that. And what are your thoughts on the new age of running?
What do you mean?
Like all these new runners that have come out.
Oh, like as in just like everyone
Like, you know,
who just
those-
wants to run?
You know those, what are they called? Those
running
run
groups.
clubs.
There are some run clubs that are like all performance-based. There are run clubs that are all about Tinder. So I think
Yes.
if you choose the right one for you, like it works out well. And it's great like working or training with people. As much as it is an individual sport, it's such a team environment as well. Like how do you say it? It's like when you go for an event, I see events as celebrations of all the dedication that you put prior.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and then so when you train individually at the event, everyone does their own thing,
Yep.
but you all come down to the same like hub and just celebrate the process.
Yeah.
To some extent, bit of the outcome, but majority of the time it's like, dude, like, geez, it was pouring the other day, yet we went to train.
Yeah.
Like just to add in that little
That
thing.
reflection.
Yeah, and it's just that bond that you get with your friends or the networks and the running clubs. Yeah.
Yeah, because I did this Sutherland to Surf last year, and I wouldn't say I did it really well because I ran with one of my clients.
Yeah.
And I was just keeping pace with her the whole time.
Yeah.
And when I finished the event, I was talking to a few of the other members that did the same run as us.
Yeah.
And I feel like everyone came around with this camaraderie.
Yeah.
Everyone was like checking their times to see like, oh, I
How'd
actually
you
did
go?
better than
How'd you go?
yeah, I did better than my last run, or my client actually did a lot better than all of her runs combined because of
awesome.
the fact that she was around this community of people doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So I feel like it does give people that boost as well.
Yeah, and it's great. Like, I sometimes to this extent, it's like I much enjoy being the support crew, seeing people actually achieve the outcomes that they put forth. It's so rewarding, and it's better than me actually finishing a race to some level.
I like that. So you're running backwards?
Yeah,
Just straight lines. Come on.
Taking the shirt off, whizzing around.
I'll see you guys at the end.
I'm your physio for the day, guys.
Because I did some work at the. Have you heard of the Backyard Ultra event?
No.
Oh, no, I haven't.
So it's like a last man standing event. It's a 6.7K loop, and you go on every hour. And so you literally keep going. It's a finite event, right? Oh, sorry, infinite event. There's no stop or start total. It's like you just keep going until you go. So the times that you qualifiers do not finish is if you don't come back within the hour or 2, you just like give up. And so I worked at that event 3 weeks ago, and I turned up on the second day. This event went for, I think it went for 4 days, 88
What?
yards, which is, I can't remember the hours or the yards, but it was about 4 days worth.
Wow.
Does that mean it doesn't stop?
Yeah.
So people are running for
the
4
night.
days straight.
Yeah,
So when they open the gates on the first day,
Yeah.
it just goes for 4 days.
yeah.
So there's
Wow.
no stop or break or anything?
There is, so you have the hour. If you come back in 40 minutes, you have 20 minutes to reset, eat, drink, sleep if you can, and then you just get up.
Would people actually sleep?
Yeah. The old, like the goats of the running sport of this format, they can knock, well, they zone out for like 5-10 minutes, but it's enough for them to recharge and then go
Wow.
again. Yeah.
That sounds
crazy.
insane, bro.
And so the record was just broken, I think, over the weekend by a Belgian bloke, 116 yards, which is 116 hours.
What?
So it's 116 times 6.7. I don't know the maths.
Let me just
He's
calculate
going to bring the
that one out.
calculator
Yeah.
up now. That's crazy, bro.
It's-
So 4 days, it just continues. And
6.7?
6.7, yeah.
772 Ks.
Yeah. That's on the hour, every hour through the night.
That's
Wow.
nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. So
What an event.
it's insane.
Why haven't people heard about
I
it?
think it's a growing sport.
Yep.
And it's an ultra marathon. So it's like a different format to like your standard road running.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
niche to running.
Yeah. It's like an element to it. Yeah.
Because you got sprinting and then you got ultra marathons.
Yeah.
And then everything in between is what people usually know.
Yes. Yeah. Correct. And this is like the ultimate test of everything.
Far
Yeah,
out.
you really talk to yourself in this event.
Oh, you would.
Oh, you would.
Oh, man.
All in your head.
Yeah.
Did you do it one day?
I did it last year.
You actually did?
Yeah.
How'd you go?
I set a goal of 12 yards, which is 12 hours or
Yep.
12 loops. I finished with 11 yards, so 1
Oh,
hour
yeah,
short.
so you weren't that far off.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
mad.
I'm comparing that to like a beep test or something.
Yeah, it's similar to a beep
It's like
test.
11 on the beep test.
Yeah. in the scale of endurance to like sprinting, yes.
Yes, yeah.
You spoke about before in your sessions. Do you prioritize the gym as a big priority of yours
Yes.
within your training?
Yes, huge. Sort of like this is why I like combine it with the physio side of things. Is that the ultimate goal is to have people spend more time strength training rather than be on the bed, get treated for niggles. But if they do end up like that, it's like, cool. How do we work around your training whilst getting you stronger? And the biggest thing is strength training. Because if you think about the amount of power that you're putting out every time you hit the ground, the repetitiveness of it, you need to have tissue tolerance to tolerate how much you're putting into your body. So yeah, like minimum would be like 2 to 3 times, depending on the phase of your season as a runner. So off season, you do it more often. In season, it's just a bit of maintenance. Yeah.
I like that.
What's the biggest lesson you've learnt so far from working with injured runners that have come to you over time?
Runners are stubborn.
Sorry, runners.
Yeah, runners are stubborn. It's just like, and it's that game that you got to play. It's like, how do you sell to them? You need to pull back, and that pulling back from training a little bit will give you more results and performance rather than just going hard all the time.
I feel like that would be hard to coach, isn't it?
Yeah. And it just goes down to understanding that runner and how do you navigate and negotiate around that. It's like, cool, if you still want to train, cool, let's modify running as minimum effective dose. But in this phase, let's keep you in the gym a little bit more, get you strong, and then we'll phase back into running again. So one of my runners, it's like runs 4 times a week, strength trains 1 to 0 times a week. I'm like, okay,
1 to 0.
yeah, 0 to 1.
Yeah.
And it's
So
like,
once
okay,
a fortnight then.
yeah. So it's just like, okay, well, how do we navigate this? So just modified like shoes. So wear different shoes when you run on different surfaces, and just cut down on the 4, just go down to 3 training sessions and just replace that with a off-fit conditioning and strength training in the gym.
Yeah.
And then if it's like, it doesn't work, it still niggles, blah, blah. Okay, cool. Like, what do you think about if we stripped it down to 2 and 2? All right, let's just do that for 2 weeks and then reevaluate and see what happens. Most of the time, you get the pain start to settle. They start to run more, and it's cool. So it works, and then you start to negotiate back into full running schedule again.
Which is back to the 4-0.
Yes. Until they hit me up and they go, oh shit. I'm like, how much strength training have you done? None.
Well, time to get back in the gym.
You know the drill. Let's just go back, review it, go down 3-1, and then go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like you really break down, a person's style of running. Do you do that for your own training as well? Like, do you use yourself as a test subject?
Yes. Yeah. And that's why I feel like I have some of these systems and frameworks, because I've tested some of these things through the years of like implementing running and strength training, and then the events. Like I used to referee OzTag, sprint, like track and field. So it's like, how do I implement all this stuff? So yeah, a lot of trial and error, and some of the areas that didn't work for me may work for someone else. But at least for me, I know that option was available to do. Yeah.
It sounds to me that you're always interrelating performance and health.
Yeah.
What was the inflection point that got you to be able to do that?
I think at one point when I was really sick, it's like, I think it was like going back 5 years ago. I got really sick. Little did I know it was just the fact that I became lactose intolerant, as all Asians Asians are highest in lactose intolerance.
Oh,
So
wow.
after every training, I'd go like to the local milk bar, get an oat chocolate, just down it, and then I'll get home and I'm like, shit, why am I so sore in my stomach? Okay, and then like in that period, I didn't know, and it just kept going for about 6 months. Lost a lot of weight. I think I lost about like 10 kilos, and I was
wow.
still trying to train and this and that. And then
Still trying to run and everything.
strength train, run, and then it would just repeat and rinse and repeat. So at that stage, it was like, okay, cool, let's just strip back. And at that time and point, I didn't know too much about nutrition, but that's when I started to dive deeper into like the nutrition side of things, the emotional state of things, and how that affects your performance. And to me, performance is more of a outcome to all the processes that you've dealt with leading into it. So sleep, stress, food, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all very big factors.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you believe that taught you something that you've now taken on into your clinic?
Yes. Yeah. Like particularly girls. I think in the last 3 months, I had 3 girls come in, all with like all these niggles and pains that just didn't seem to work out really well within the first 3 sessions. Normally I give about 3 sessions to go, all right, cool. If there are some improvements, something will happen in these 3, but nothing changed. So questions such as, how much are you eating? And when you run a standard run, you'd be burning about 800 to about 900 calories. And so they were at a cut, eating only 1,100 calories.
Oh, what?
Yeah. And I'm like,
Were they small at least?
they were tiny. Like the figure, the frame was
Yeah.
tiny.
1.1K.
Were they all friends or
No.
completely different people?
Yeah.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
So all of them came up because there was like a half marathon coming up, and they were all just training hard. But one in particular could not reach above 5Ks in her training run without any pain. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, let's break down your food intake. What are you eating? She's like, oh, I'm on a cut actually. I'm like, you're tiny. Like,
How could you be on a cut?
yeah. And so I just said to her, look, eat this, and then let's just see what happens. I was like, do you have a problem with food? She's like, no. I'm like, great. Where are you going after this? She's like, oh, I'm going to a cafe. I'm like, beautiful. Just
Smash
eat whatever.
food.
Just eat food.
You just eat. Yeah, eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and get snacks in there. I don't care what you eat. Just eat. Yeah, because there is some level like counting calories, this and that.
Yeah.
But to those types of people, I'm just like, just eat. I don't care what you eat. Even if it's Macca's, just get calories in there for now.
Yeah.
And then after that, we just pump you up with junk food and good food, and then after we just cull it back because you have no problems with food. You don't see it as a good thing, a bad thing. You see it as petrol for the body. Yeah.
Oh, so she was looking at food as performance.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was really easy for you to pump out that message, which is good.
It's just like, look, you're burning this amount. Your body as a base needs this amount. You're in a negative, and you're running on top of that. You're in even a more negative.
Yeah.
Like the petrol light, the orange thing is like blinking red every single time.
Past the E.
Yeah. It's like you're passing to the negatives. It doesn't work anymore.
Is that why the pain was coming up?
Yes. Yeah. She wasn't recovering well. And that was the biggest thing. It was about 2 weeks leading to our event. I said, just eat. Come to the event, which was a half marathon, 21K. So to go from 5Ks running in pain, pumped her up with food within 2 weeks, and then she like nailed her half marathon PB.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And she's like, I had no pain. I'm like,
There you
done.
go.
Just eat
Mic
food.
drop.
Now I'm a nutritionist.
Do you take the nutrition role?
No. Like, I tell people, like, look, I have a very basic understanding through my sports science degree. Like, I know what food works, what should you like minimize, what you should eat to help your performance, but I don't count calories. So it's just like eat. As a runner, you burn so much, just eat.
Yeah, you can give advice on what you do, and you're a runner yourself. So
Obviously, it's like, can I eat Macca's or KFC before a run? Like, that's a no. But if you want to eat it to be happy and healthy mentally and emotionally, do it. But if it's not an everyday thing and you don't use that as a escapism from something, then that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Did you have any role models growing up or someone that you looked up to in the industry that you work towards?
Yeah, I think like a lot of people from different fields, and I take pointers from everyone, and then I put it all together to make my own recipe.
Yep.
Yeah. In terms of names, I don't really have like names off the top of my head, but yeah, it's just ever growing every single time. Yeah.
Are you looking to become that name for someone else?
No, I don't really look to do that. And just do what I want to do. And if people appreciate what I do and look up to me, that I'm very thankful and appreciative, but I don't chase that stuff. Nah.
Is there any like, I guess, personal running story from, you know, your history of running that you put into your clinical work?
In the sense of like
any injuries that you would have experienced or anything that you experienced in your running career, like in events or prep or anything like that you actually bring to your clinic?
minimum effective dosage.
Okay.
So it's like how little can you do to get
the same result?
Same result.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no science to it. It's just like, what did I find helpful?
Yeah.
So taking into consideration like your external factors, it's like, cool, if you don't sleep well or you don't sleep enough, if you got a new family, your new job, you're traveling a lot for work, how do we get you bang for your buck in each training session? And it would just be like, we know that like minimum is 3 to have majority or significant change. So we just play around with that. It's like, cool, what can you implement in your week? Can we work around it? Can we do 2 things at once? So can you afford to wake up early? If not, can we do it in between lunch or late at night? So that would be one of the biggest things is minimum effective dose.
Minimum effective dose. I like that.
Individualized for everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that something that it's like trial and error as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So some people eat really well but don't sleep well, but then they train really like effectively too. And it's like, cool, if that works, maybe if the next 2 weeks we tried an extra training session, but keep it as a base. So just to get your legs turning, or if you're in the gym, let's just do maybe 30 minutes of 4 to 6 exercises, and let's just see how that goes. And then you trial that, and you're like, oh yeah, I feel fresh. I'm sleeping better because I'm just moving more, and I could implement that in my daily schedule or weekly schedule. And if that works and is consistent and you can carry that on, perfect. I think that works for you. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Is pain always a signal to stop?
No, I think it's subjective.
Yeah,
very subjective. If it's a mental pain, it's just like
keep pushing.
Keep pushing. Yeah. But if it's a niggle that's been lingering around a lot and it's affecting your day-to-day life, then yes.
Yeah.
But if it's affecting you for a short period post your run, not really, because it could be a sign of just your body adapting to the stimulus that you're putting through that you haven't put through before.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yes. Would you say it's similar to DOMS?
Yeah. So, for example,
Like that muscle pain after the gym.
Yeah. So, like the biggest thing is like a tendinopathy. So, where the tendons get really angry because they've got a new stimulus to it.
Yeah.
And I always relate that to like a callus developing when you're going back to the gym and lifting the barbell again. It's like if you took 6 months off, you come back with baby hands, you lift the barbell and you start to get the callus. It hurts to start off with, but if you periodize how you train, maybe give it 2 days rest or 3 days rest in between to allow the callus to recover, you'll be sweet the next time you train. And similar to these tendons, they love stimulus, but if you give too much too soon, it's like, whoa, come on, man, pull back.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Hang on a second.
Yeah. So, for example, this morning I went for a run, 12 Ks, but probably one of my fastest paces for a while. And like my Achilles was just a bit tender this morning. So cool, it's just a stimulus. If I go for a sprint tomorrow, I'll probably flare up.
Yeah.
But so it's just like, cool, maybe tomorrow just strip back, do a bit of strength work, let it settle, and then run again on the next 2 days after. It would be okay. Yeah.
What's the most common injury you see in your practice?
Aside from like your standard lower backs, it will be like knee or ankle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense for running.
Yeah, and I love to work with toes.
Yeah? I'm clipping that. Why is that?
So you like feet?
I do.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like yeah, I somewhat have a low-key fetish to it.
Yeah.
Anytime someone walks in, they're like, oh, sorry, Kev, my feet stink. I'm like, nah, man, take your sock off. Pop onto the bed. Let's have a look at what you mean.
Get on the bed.
Take your socks off now.
Yeah.
What is that?
I feel like your feet or your toes are like your fingers.
Yeah,
so you
like
got
your
like,
hands.
you got muscles in your feet. And when you run, they are the first point of contact upon touching the ground. They absorb force, they produce force. And if they could do it effectively and you've got strength and mobility in it, it takes a portion of the pressure away from above the chain.
Wow. It's like you know a lot about feet.
Yeah. Oh, to some level of what a physio, yeah. But otherwise I refer to a podiatrist. But yeah, like I love feet and
Yeah.
No, it's good that you mentioned that because I'm thinking back because I did my exercise and science degree as well.
Yeah.
And I had an exercise physiologist who was my tutor for one of my pracs that I was doing. And one key thing that she taught me that I still actually teach some of my clients right now today is putting a tennis ball under the mid part of your foot. And that releases tension all through the posterior chain of your body.
Yeah, right.
Is that true?
I don't know if it releases the whole posterior chain. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
But I know that it releases like the foot tension that you have.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Okay, so it's more foot tension than releasing the posterior chain.
yeah, like maybe there is something that does, but I'm not too sure on my end.
The way she taught it, right, was we would do knees straight, try to touch your toes
Yeah.
as far as you can.
Yeah.
And then do that foot roll thing, and I'll do like 100 rolls.
Yeah.
And
Oh, geez, that's a lot, man.
Jeez,
100.
100 rolls, and I'll get like around 2 centimeters increased.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he only knows from the ankle down, so anything up from the ankle,
No.
out of the question.
I only know toes to heel. You know?
How important is it to have the right running shoe for running?
I'd say it's one of the like the higher tier type of importance. Obviously, like strength and training volume and age is more important. But yeah, like if you're running often, like I'd say 3 times as a minimum a week, running shoes is important. But if you're just a casual, I'm just doing it once a week, running whatever. Yeah, it's not enough stimulus to get you hurt until you pick it up.
Okay, so you can get away with thongs then.
You can. Yeah. Have you seen that
Running once a week.
Instagrammer that just like runs in different shoes?
Oh, yes, I have actually.
Yeah, he runs in like high heels and gum
Yes.
boots. Oh, it's so cool.
Or David Goggins barefoot.
Yeah. And there's this bloke on YouTube who ran a marathon in Crocs.
Oh,
Yeah.
What?
You're in a
crazy.
whole marathon in Crocs.
Crocs. Yeah.
Fire.
It's
I would have just like hopped on a little buggy just to watch him the whole time. That would have been mad.
Yeah. So yeah, like I mean, I encourage like barefoot running if you have a strong history in running, because then that way, that way you could really feel your feet and you could really tap into like where your forces are going through. But that's only if you're a seasoned runner and you really have a good understanding of your body.
Like you have a good history of it.
Yeah.
Are you pushing this agenda so you can see more feet on the road?
Yes.
Now it's on social. It's like, come on down.
More feet, guys.
But are you saying this for on the grass though, or on actual concrete as well?
In a sense, both.
Yes, okay.
Obviously, like if people want to do that, like I don't recommend it because it's like you have to really understand yourself, your body, and you have to understand how to like expose it.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
so
that's
it's
why
like-
you said experienced runners. Like
Correct.
people have been doing it for a long time.
Yeah. And like for myself, I like to walk around barefoot, but I also like to have different varied shoes. So you have different forces that are applied throughout the body differently. Like something that's
interesting.
more cushioned, high stacked, so you're a bit more elevated, will put more pressure around the quads and the knees, versus something that's more flatter, will have more around the ankle and the calf and the Achilles.
So would you say that the foot is a very important structure to everything in the body?
I'd say it has a
More for a lower limb, I mean.
like it has a higher tier importance to it all. Yeah. Like I mean, when there are foot exercises or toe exercises to improve the control and the strength of your toes.
Yeah.
So similar to your fingers. So I always get people to do strength work for their toes, mobility and stuff like that.
Yeah. Just for everyone that's watching right now, he's made us all take our shoes off, so we're all barefoot under the...
And we're all interlocking our toes.
Oh, don't move too far away, man.
Tell us a little bit about Ground Up. So that's your business, that's your brand?
Is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And tell us how that all started.
So it was just a brand or like a platform I created during COVID. So it was like 2019, 2020.
Yeah.
And given my sort of like my background in terms of my mental, emotional health side of things, I figured I went through like a dark period, say late teens, early 20s, and then sort of started to develop these strategies on how do I manage these emotions and the things that I faced. And so the core pillars that I sort of figured out during that time was like, if you want to be this type of person and think this type of way, you just got to put in the reps. So it was like being consistent with some of these things. And then you had to be very consistent. You had to be consistent, patient with it too. So you come around a lot of roadblocks. And so it's like, how do you work around these roadblocks when these come about? And it will test what you've learned and what you've implemented. And then you have to be dedicated to it as well. And so working on a very strong base, like a pyramid. And so if you've got a strong base, you could start to work on the second tier and then the top tier. So
Building from the ground up.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I love it.
And I was thinking ground up. My mind went straight from feet up, you know?
yes. But you do as well. Like
Yeah,
in
it does,
essence,
it
you
does.
do work from your feet up. So when people, runners come in, or even like just general people, it's like, I've got knee pain, hip pain, whatever. Cool, let's take your shoes off, your socks off.
Yep.
Let's see you squat. Let's just see how you move.
Yeah.
What are your toes doing? Where is your center of mass shifting? Do your toes claw? That means you're not utilizing your fingers or your toes to grip onto the ground appropriately.
Yeah.
And once you do that, you tend to see people's balance improve a lot more without touching anything up higher.
No, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because that was my next question. Like, a runner comes in,
Yeah.
the first thing you do is shoes off, socks off.
Yes.
That's your first point of action.
I'm Asian. Shoes and socks left outside the door.
I was like, oh, he's going to go serious about this, bro.
No, that's a joke. So come in, and I like to just look at how their feet is shaped as well.
Yeah.
Do they have like a huge bunion? Where the calluses are placed? Are they very flat-footed? But is that normal for them, flat-footed, or is it like developed because of structural weakness?
Yes.
And then that's when the questions start to roll in about like, is this normal for you? X, Y, Z. If it's normal, I just leave it. If it's abnormal in a sense and it's causing issues, we play around with it.
So I'd assume you're like big on shoes and shoe health, like the choice of shoes that people have. Because I'm assuming that people that have high heels, they're like their feet are like clamped in.
Yes.
A lot.
Yeah.
And do you have a lot of patients that come in that might wear tight shoes that you're like, hey, that's why there's problems of
Have arised. Yeah, no, definitely. Particularly like with the phase of carbon plated shoes.
Yeah.
They are very narrow through the top. And so you'll see a lot of them come in with very bunched toes. It's like, cool. Like, and then I'll do a couple of assessments. Like, is this a normal bunched toe or is this like a adaptive situation? And then we sort of go from there. And then even for myself, like I play around with shoes and all that. And so I used to wear very tight shoes, shin splints, when I do refereeing. Say, cool, what if I got rid of these boots that were very narrow, got a bit wider, worked on my toe strength, and then you started to see your muscles in your toes or your feet develop. And then my toes didn't get as bunched, and then stopped having shin splints, and then stopped having as many calluses on my big toes. And now I wear it's called like barefoot shoes in a sense, where it's like zero drop. There is a bit of cushioning, but you've also got a bit of a wider base for the feet. Yeah. And since I've been wearing more of that to trial it out, my feet have become like more splayed, so wider.
Yeah.
And I don't pinch up into my toes as much anymore. And my injuries that I used to have when I did the marathon 2 years ago, they no longer exist. But that's complementary of strength training on top of that too.
Of course.
Yeah, because you're doing all those things in the background. In our football team, and I feel like this is across the board because I've been playing football my whole life, shin splints tends to be the most common injury.
Yeah.
But not really injury, but the common. This episode is brought to you by Dynamic Recover. You're not lazy, you're just busy. But let me ask you this. How much longer are you going to let your health take a backseat to your calendar. You already know what to do. Train, eat well, stay consistent, but knowing isn't the problem. Doing it while running a business, managing a team, or raising a family, that's where most people fall flat. At Dynamic Rehab, we coach high-performing professionals to take back control without adding more to your plate. We give you a clear plan, real accountability, and full access to our coaching team right from your phone. Use code EVOLVE at checkout to get 50% off your first week. That's EVOLV. Hit the link in the show notes. Start now before later turns into never. Now let's get back to the episode. Thing that people present themselves with after a soccer game, before a soccer game, before training.
Yeah.
We have two guys on our team with
Yeah,
shin
right now,
splints at the
but
moment.
Oh, wow.
every year there's at least one or two
Yeah.
people that have shin splints, either for short periods or for long periods throughout the season.
Yeah.
Would you say that's down to them wearing tight shoes throughout the day, or is it their boots?
It could be many factors. I think it's like comes down to what they do for work as well. Like if you're wearing steel cap shoes or boots, like you tend to have a higher potential of experiencing shin splints because your feet are so stuck and you're in heavy shoes all the time. So your feet don't actually get this stretching motion. And so when you go
that's
play,
interesting.
there's a constant.
They are tradies.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Answer the question straight away.
So that would be one of the higher things I'll dive deeper. It's like, cool, is it strength related? So I'll assess the strength. Is it range related? I'll assess the range. If it's none of that and it's like potentially work related, cool, maybe in and out of your boots where you can. These are the strategies that you can implement to help manage it. And then, see how that goes from there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you work closely with podiatrists then?
I do have a good podiatrist that I work with.
Yep.
So
How important is that relationship for you and your clients?
pretty important. Yeah. But majority of the people just, I don't know. He refers me a lot. I refer people to him. I don't know if people go to him. But it is important because there are some things that you just can't fix as a physio. And the podiatrist that I refer to is really good. It's like if you don't need orthotics, you don't need orthotics. He'll tell you to do other things.
Yes.
But if you need orthotics to support the current issue, then implement it. And then as you get stronger and build strength around it, it's like advised to sometimes take it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I wear orthotics, but I don't wear them for soccer. And I get a lot of ankle injuries
Yeah.
from not strengthening my feet or my ankles or my knees.
Yeah.
Now I have started to strength train and it's become a lot better. There was a little gimmicky Temu style gadget that I saw.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure how you
is
feel
it?
about it. It's the toe sock that spreads your toes.
Oh, bro,
wide.
I have that.
Do you actually?
I do. Not on me right now, but I wear toe socks.
Are they good?
No way.
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I love it. Like, I think... so it's not a gimmick.
No,
Yeah.
I know, but you see people try them on and there's ad after ad after ad. So like throws people off it.
Oh,
Yeah.
so they're actually good.
Yeah.
But they actually provide a benefit.
I prefer it. Some people still find it weird, but I like toe socks for when I run because it's like it stops the rubbing between the toes. And then, but also like depends on what brands you use. Shout out to Relly Footwear. He's like an Australian brand that's operated in Sydney, and he's come out with like this fabric that helps. What do you call it? Moisture wicking. Moisture wicking, so you don't sweat as much as normal socks do.
Okay.
In between the toes, which then causes the blisters and all that. So that's like reasons why I wear it. But also through the day at work as well. Like that way I could take my shoes off, give my feet a bit of a stretch without being too constricted with the sock material. And I just stretch my toes here and there with it. It gives me more freedom. It's odd though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I see people put them on those videos and I'm like, wow, their toes are really spread.
Yeah.
There's some that obviously have a extreme amount of spread, but there's like different gradients, different levels.
For toe socks?
Yeah.
Not really.
No.
There's sort of like a one size
Fits all.
Yeah. And like what I love about this one that I have is that like the thingy that goes between the toes are a little bit more wider, but they're firm fitting versus some other ones like they're great. They don't last as long. So it's like very performance based, but they hug very tight.
Yeah.
And for me, I just don't like that. I'm very sensitive to sensors. And I just like a little bit of that in between. Yeah.
So two runners that are watching this podcast right now,
Yeah.
how would you explain to them what stage I would have to get to before they start barefoot running?
Consistent training.
Okay.
Consistent training and having a varied amount of footwear with different profiles. So one of the biggest profiles will be the amount of cushioning, so stack height, and then also your heel drop. So the heel drop is a difference between the heel height at the back down to the front. So you generally have like your max ones that are like very steep. It's a 12 mil. You got like your 10, then you got your 8s and your 6s, and then like 4s and 0s. So you sort of work your way down to being flat. And then you have that different profile that you rotate around to just allow your body to get used to it.
Oh, interesting. So my hockers, they actually are like that a little bit.
Yeah. But I think a lot of their heel drops are sitting around that 5 to 8 mil heel drop. So it's not too like this. It's just the fact that the stack height or the cushioning
is pretty thick.
Big. Yeah, yeah.
Do you recommend them or
Yeah,
not really?
yeah. Like I think it depends on the individual and whether their foot profile fits that shoe. Like for myself, I have preferences. Then I get my wife to try on this certain shoes that I like, and she's like, I hate it. So okay, cool. Let's just find different ones to trial it out.
So it's individualistic then.
Correct. Yeah. And that's why I always recommend people to go to a specialty running shoe store to get their foot analysed, their running gait analysed. And then generally these shoe stores allow you to try on varied amount of brands and profiles of shoes, go for a run. And then that way you could really feel the difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your top 3 picks
Of
for shoes?
running
for
shoes? I like, right now, I'm in a good rotation between like a Hoka. It's a Hoka Max 6. So that shoe is very good for like a varied amount of like slow runs, but also fast runs.
Yeah.
Then I have a New Balance 1080s. It's more cushiony. So I just do that for like the chill runs. And then there's another one with like Asics Nova Blast. That one's very similar to the Hokas. It's just different styles, different feel, different push-off feeling that you get out of it. So that would be my top 3.
I'm obsessed with shoes, so that's why I asked the question.
Let's go shopping later.
Bro, I've been looking for a good pair of running shoes for a while.
Yeah.
I'm running with the Gel Quantum.
Oh, that's not a running shoe, bro.
I know.
That's
I
a
know.
lad shoe.
Bro, it is. I got it with the intention of like wanting to go for a run, and I'm running in them. I'm like, bro, I just feel like a lad. Yeah, like running like this. Invisible lat syndrome running far out.
He's us going for a hack mid run.
Yeah.
Add the step count up.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna do that next time. I'm just gonna go for a run and just start hacking mid. I really liked your story about Ground Up, and I feel like a lot of businesses and a lot of people that we talk to have a great story behind why their name is that. So we had someone on the podcast a little while back called Empower Performance. They want to empower athletes to be the next level and, you know, focus on their mental health and all that stuff. Now with Ground Up, do you focus on that mental health side of things as well, and you know, getting people when they're running to think about positive things?
Yeah, like mental health as a big scope of things has a play on your ability to recover. So say someone who's highly stressed and hyper focused on like their pain, it is going to take a little bit longer for them to recover, because like a little niggle is like, oh shit, that hurts. And they just
sorry about the garbage truck, guys. Far out. Thanks, bro.
They're taking out your quantums.
I know, man. You know what? I should put him in the bin when I get home. Yeah, definitely. Just give me. I'm glad I asked because now I want to throw them out.
No, wear it. It's great to go to festivals.
Okay. Done. I'll keep them in my keepsake for when I go to the next festival.
Good for festivals, not good for running.
Yeah.
Continue. I'm sorry.
Maybe your little walks and stuff you can use them.
Yeah, little walks.
On your hacks training sessions. But then, yeah, like say on the mental side of things, if someone's like can cope with a like bit of discomfort and understands what this pain represents, it's like it's easier to sort of become more free of the pain, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, like stresses from work on that mental side of things has a play on your ability to sleep, and sleep is when your body recovers and resets. So if you're lacking any of that, your mood is going to change. You become very irritable, and then it becomes a flow-on effect and cascade effect to everything else in life. So yeah, like mental health is huge. And I think when someone comes into the clinic and I personally ask a lot of deep and hard questions to understand the person, to really understand the catalyst of why this thing is happening, whether it's a injury-related thing or if it's a stress-related thing. And an example is like probably 2 months ago, I had a lady, probably like mid-50s. She was coming in with a lot of like foot pain, hip pain, that type of stuff. And then there was some personal things happening in life. So her family member, like her dad, was unwell and just very high-strung, stressed, emotional. And so what I said to her, look, what are you doing to look after yourself? And he's like, there's not much. And so I recommended going to the sauna, because when you go to the sauna, you're able to slow down the nervous system a little bit more. You increase the heart rate, but you get a bit more blood flowing around the body. Yeah. And she did that twice in the space of 1 week, and then saw her the following week, and she's like, yeah, the pain has really settled down. The sauna's actually helped me like feel less anxious, less stressed. The aches that I was getting in my traps, they're no longer there. The headaches that I was getting is no longer there. And I'm like, so addressing some other things to help people is how I sort of look at the mental health side of things.
And that makes a big difference.
Huge. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So some things is like, say, people try to do too much and you get overstimulated, and then they do too much to try to get better. But they're already doing a lot in their life. So it's like you just need to calm down the nervous system, just slow it down, and then generally become into this equilibrium.
Okay, that actually makes sense, because I was watching your podcast with the Flexing Physio, and there was a concept that you were talking about between joint load and joint capacity. Yeah. How would you explain that to someone?
Joint load and joint capacity. So it's
like when, I think in the podcast you were saying that if joint load is higher than joint capacity, that's when injuries happen.
Yes.
And when joint capacity is higher than joint load, that's when you're, I guess, injury preventative.
Yes. Yeah. So I guess like to put it into a bit of an analogy, it's like, let's just say you've got a trampoline that you got, let's say a normal trampoline will have 50 springs around it to support it, right? Okay. And so that would be your muscle, what did I say?
Joint capacity.
What's the other one?
Joint load.
So if you could, capacity. So that's the springs are the capacity of the trampoline, right? Yeah. So it can deal with a lot at that stage. Let's just say 50 is the maximum amount. And then if you could load up 10 kids onto it, cool, the springs could really hold the amount of forces on top. But if you take half of the springs away, but you have the same amount of people there, the trampoline will sag and it will potentially break. And so that's the analogy, I'd say, of capacity of the joints and the muscles.
So how would you relate it to running then? So when someone's having this niggle, let's say it's shin splints, for example, and they continuously just keep on doing their runs every single day, like let's say 7 days a week, then is that the same concept?
Yeah, and it was sort of like, so when you come in, I do a whole body assessment, basically, like top down in the sense of, or bottom up. But if we zone it down, ground up. Yeah, I love that. Where did you get that name from? So if we use shin splints as an example, and we sort of just zone it down to one component, is that if you're having shin pain, what is your capacity in terms of calf raises? How many calf raises can you do? Baseline, depending on age, just general baseline is like 25 to 30 calf raises, good capacity, good quality motions. You can't go half range, 25. I generally want all the way up, all the way down, 25.
Is that double leg?
Single leg.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so in the grand scheme of things, in the zoned in version, if you cannot do more than 20 to 25, it's like, great, you have no tissue capacity. So therefore, your joint or your bones are taking more of this pressure. So let's get it up there. So you could continue to absorb the force and then produce the force appropriately.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just one zoned in component if we looked at shin splints in just one assessment.
Okay, so I guess my next question would be, if someone wants to train, for 8 hours a day, that's obviously on an extreme.
Yeah.
Could they get to the point where they've built up their body to withstand that? Like, is there an ability to build up that joint capacity to withstand a load as much as 8 hours a day of training?
If we go hypothetical on 8 hours a day, no. Basically, you're pouring wet cement on wet cement, hoping that it would stack, but it would just keep drooping.
I like
Okay.
that.
Yeah, you need time for it to consolidate, thicken up, and then you can pour on top again.
Is that possible over time? Let's say they built up years and years of doing, let's say, calf raises.
Yeah.
They built up to doing 100 single leg calf raises.
Yeah.
Does that mean their shin can withstand a lot more pressure than everyone else's?
In the hypothetical sense, yes.
Okay.
Yes. In a
So in theory-
hypothetical, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He emphasized hypothetical there.
Yeah. Very big.
Hypothetical.
Because again, if we strip it back, it's like when someone comes in, let's just say a runner, in this case, it's like shin splints. Cool. Is it something above or below the shin that's causing this issue?
Knee or ankle.
Yeah. Is it like your feet, ankles? Is it your thigh strength, so quad, hamstrings? Is it your hip strength, or is it your core strength? Or is it like a restriction in joint? So can your hips move in certain ways? Can your mid back or lower back move?
Yeah.
Likewise into the knee joint, ankle joint. So someone can come in very strong in below the knee, but is very weak in the hips areas. So like glutes or hip flexors might be super weak. And so when you run, you have like your triple extension on push-off phase. Your calf, your quads, and your glutes, generally speaking, are the ones pushing you forward. Now, let's just say each of them have a third in their role. But if, say, the quads is not working very well, then above and below have to work harder to help the quads work. So then in my assessment and treatment, it's like, cool, your shin splints is not because you're weak in your calf, but it's your quads not being able to absorb the force.
Interesting.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Yeah.
And I know you're big on holistic health, right? So you don't just focus on rehab and everything like that. You dive into sleep, you dive into nutrition, like you have just spoken about before.
Yeah.
Is there any mindset practices that you dive into with your runners?
Not specifically, because everyone responds so differently. Like I do have certain strategies, but the biggest thing when I do with physio or coaching is I take it back into perspective. So an example was that as you get stronger, you're going to do more.
Yeah.
And this is why you're still experiencing what you're feeling. And so it's just a lot of perspectives rather than, I think positive. Like my positive is different to your positive.
Yeah. So you're not trying to sprinkle, little fairy floss on it.
No, it's like, go hard. Yeah, cool. What if you go hard and you literally hurt yourself? I'm responsible for that.
Yes.
So it's like, cool. If, you take it into perspective, like what happened in the lead up to this, and then we break it down. And then majority of the time, it's like, I did this thing on this day and it was a once off, and then I went to run. Is that this happened? I'm like, cool. So it's not, you don't need to be mentally tougher. It's that you did something that caused that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But yeah.
Sorry, I was just laughing. Fairy floss.
The fairy floss.
Not fairy dust, fairy floss.
Your fairy floss will be like not like this one, is it?
Yeah. That's the one. If you could, sorry, that threw me off completely.
I was confused for a bit.
Yeah.
Fairy floss.
Fairy floss.
That's the thousands and hundreds.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking of. That's what my mind went to hundreds
Fairy
of
bread,
thousands.
that's what it's called.
That's what
Oh, that's funny as.
sprinkling some fairy floss on fairy bread.
If you could redesign the way you educate people on running, what would you change?
The biggest thing is data. I think not a lot of people look into the data, particularly the newer ones, and how to interpret it. And I think if we can come up with something that's like a little workbook, I might do that actually.
like an ebook.
Yeah, like
Good idea.
I have had
You got to keep
like
yourself accountable now. It's on camera.
Well, I mean, I do have 2 ebooks on my website if you guys want to learn.
Okay.
But yeah, like something to go, look, this is the data and this is how you interpret it and go from there. And I think that would be
awesome.
the biggest thing.
That'd be really good because I've wanted to get into running, but I've never been obsessed with the data or understood the data.
Yeah.
Understand like the K paces and all that stuff. But how you just worded it sounds interesting.
Yeah.
I feel
I
like
didn't on
that.
Strava.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't even know my Strava name, but like, I think it's Kev and then my last name, which is Vuong.
All right.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce it?
Vuong. Vuong?
Vuong? Yeah.
Vuong.
I think.
You think?
Yeah.
I'd say.
I get too many pronunciations. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So a new runner comes in the door or someone messages you on Instagram and they haven't run before in their life.
Yeah.
What's the message you're giving them?
Why do you want to run? Would be the question I ask.
Yeah.
And that way I could help them structure their runs appropriately
I like it.
to minimize the injuries.
Because there's so many different roads they can take.
Yeah.
They could enter ultra marathons one day.
Correct.
Then they would have to follow this trajectory.
Correct.
If they want to become sprinters, they wouldn't even touch that type of program.
Yeah. In a sense, it's like there's groundwork that you need to have, like baseline. And if you're a new runner, it's like, why do you want to run? Cool. If you want to run for this purpose, then this is my framework that I'd say that you should follow in a sense, where you don't have to dedicate too much time to strengthening your body to minimize your injuries versus someone who's more like, say, into the sprinting. It's like, cool, what are your base strengths? Do you have power? Do you have strength? Do you have endurance? If you're lacking in one of these, then you need to work on this first before you move on. And then becomes more of a technical game as well in sprinting versus long distance running. You can get away with somewhat average technique. But as long as you got the good strength around it, then you can get away from it, from getting injured.
And do you coach running as well?
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. So it's all online base. And so I combine the aspects of the physio, the sports science background in between both of it. So I catch up with my runners once a month. They message me throughout the training week. And then any niggles that generally come up, it's like, cool, we dive deep into why. And then if appropriate, we give strengthening exercises, or if not, it's like other management strategies. And then on the performance side of things, it's just like from the sports science background that I have and the studies that I've just gone through and read and looked into to how I formulate all that. And my physio approach in terms of rehab is very structured on strength and conditioning principles.
Yeah.
So it's like a continuum that I sort of utilize. Yeah.
So you have a very strong brand, the Running Physio. Was that all strategic or did it evolve naturally?
I think it evolved naturally, where it was like I've always wanted to work in the running industry. And so I created the social media platform like seven years ago. And I was just posting up running content primarily. And then over time, people started to come to me for the running stuff. I'm like, oh, like, how did you find me? X, Y, Z. And then someone suggests like, oh, why don't you just put that up onto your profile a little? So I put it up and then it's just stuck with, and I don't edit my profile too often. So it just stays up there.
Yeah. You just update it whenever you go for a run or anything like that?
No.
It's
just there. Like the profile details are just there. I'll just leave one.
You post reels and stuff.
Oh yeah. Like the posting.
Yeah.
The posting, it's quite regular. And the biggest thing I love to post of late is just sharing journeys and stories of local legends, basically, of people setting up their goals that they want to achieve, and then sharing the processes, and then sharing the emotions to it. And yeah, it's been amazing. Like I think 4 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, there was 3 running events all on the same weekend. And I think I just had this emotional high, and I just had this dopamine drop on Monday, just because there's majority of my runners hit PBs. And then just, from knowing that some people went from managing injuries, and we're like halfway, like, oh, am I going to pull out? Am I still going to continue running? Some of them pulled up to the event, perfect, come out with no injuries. And like 2 weeks ago, we're talking about pulling out. I'm like, nah, let's just play it safe. And then, yeah, it's just like that emotional connection with a lot of these people. And I just love sharing and posting stuff like that. And posting about myself, it's just post me.
Yeah.
Just
do you.
Yeah.
You do you.
Yeah.
What a story.
Try not to be too cliche with the post.
Yeah.
And just invite people to who I am as a person.
Yeah. It's not like, are you a runner?
Yeah.
Come to me. I'll help you.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's more like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah. Like
Kevin.
This is my running session.
Yeah.
Some people follow the training session that I put up, that I do for myself. Or they're just like, oh, where did you run? That looks so beautiful. So it's like, oh yeah, I ran here. Yeah. If you want to link up for a run, let's go together. Let's watch the sunrise.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the best.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So you're
Sunrise
creating
runs.
like some sort of like community as well.
Yeah. And
Are you starting a run club?
No, I did, but I didn't at the same time. It was like a running workshop
Yeah.
Okay.
that I created last year, where it's like it was structured to have learn stuff about running at the start, drills, technique, strengthening stuff, and then we'll go for a run together. And then now it's just like I've created, like I have the Bondi to where is it? Manly Ultra. I just picked out three other people because it's a team of 4. I'm like, hey, I'm doing this. Like, what do you guys think? Do you want to join? And 3 other people that do not know each other. And so I just punched them out and they hit me back later. I was like, yeah, I'm down. I was like, cool. I created this group chat. And then instead of just like, hey guys, thanks for blah, blah, I just video record myself or voice message and then just have fun. And
It creates more of a touch point, doesn't it?
yeah. And then some person mentioned the other member's name wrong. And I just picked that up on that and just created some banter.
Yeah.
Just to create like
That's
this
awesome.
community aspect out of it.
For someone that wants to do running but is a little bit hesitant, would you suggest them to go to a run club or, message someone to go for a run with?
Yeah. Like either like get into the run clubs or message someone that's also keen. And my general rule of thumb is just there is no expectations. Run, walk as much as you like, but just give yourself a time frame rather than a distance. So let's just go out for 30 minutes. We walk, run. If we want to walk, we walk. If we want to run, we run. And then over time, you'll start to see that you can run more than you run more than you walk.
Yeah.
And then from there, you develop this relationship with the person that you are with. And then you just keep each other, like I say, accountable. Say, oh, cool, that was good. And you start to see each other's progress along the way.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that would be my suggestion.
What's your approach to educating at scale? Because since you're on social media, you're educating a lot of people at one time. What was your approach to that?
I'm trying to get onto long form content now. So like the YouTube. So I've posted up like several long form content pieces that I just copy the link and then share off to people. It's like, hey, Kev, like main touch points that people generally ask. What are the mobility exercises that I should do? So I created a video of that, copy the link, and then send it out.
Yeah.
Some of the shoe reviews, it's like I've done one, but it's like, hey, what do you think about this shoe? Copy, paste, send it. That way it's like you hit at scale and you could just reuse that over a period of time. So I'm not after the views. It's just easier to go copy, paste rather than
creating new content all the time.
Yeah, it's tiring.
Or making a new video every time someone asks for it.
Yeah, because if I scroll back something like 3 years ago, that topic wasn't big, but it is big now. So I'll just scroll, copy, send it to them rather than, hey, I'm going to make a new one for you. So I'm not trying to chase the clout, the views, the likes or anything like that.
And it's saving you time as well because you've already made the content. You don't have to repeat like a whole paragraph message to them. You've made the video.
Yeah.
Just resend that to them.
Exactly. And that's what I utilize my social media platform for is a bit of a library of exercises, a bit of library of educational content pieces that like I could just pass on to people as needed.
It's like a visual website in a way.
Yeah.
Any question you
I
have,
like that.
send.
And then the stories are utilized just to get to know people or for people to get to know me. And then I watch other people's story and just engage in life with them. Yeah.
I remember when you first mentioned when you started your business or when you first decided to start the Running Physio brand and everything like that, that the reason you got into it was because you felt like there was no one in the industry doing that same thing.
At that stage.
At that stage.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, things have changed, but
Yeah.
do you feel like you coming in with that mindset is that you have this, I guess, responsibility to lead the industry in that way?
No,
No?
I don't like leading in a sense.
Okay.
It's just like if you met me on the street, one-on-one, easy. I could chat to you until the house comes down. But in a group setting, it's like, I'd rather not the spotlight. And similarly on socials, it's like I love to have 1,000 true followers than 10,000 followers and only 1,000 of them follow me. That's only 1/10.
Yeah.
So in a sense, it's like if I could help a small bunch of people, I'm happy with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'd rather run with the group than ahead of the group.
Yes. Yeah. You just be amongst them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you
I
don't
like
want to lead the industry and make a change in that way?
No, I think there are more notable people that are already doing it.
In the running physio space?
In the running physio space.
Oh, there is? Okay.
Yeah, there is. And I'm just like, just do that.
Passing on the torch.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I started this, but you guys, What's a business lesson that physios rarely get taught early on that you feel like they need to learn?
It's a whole different ball game, business and physio. For myself, the reason why I guess I started like Ground Up was to figure myself out as a person, and in a business sense as well. It's like where I used to work, it had a really good reputation, and I sort of backpacked off that, and I learned a lot knowledge-wise as a physio from my boss back then, which I carry across to now. But in terms of the business side of things, I was very naive. So that's something I wanted to learn. It's like, cool, how do I build relationships with people, and how do I nourish that and flourish that and just continue building that? Because I think the biggest thing is relationships is key in making anything successful or making things progress well, rather than the metrics of money. Money will come, but it's the it's the relationship side of things first. If you treat someone well with integrity, morals and ethics, I think in return, you'll receive the same.
Money comes and goes, but relationships.
They come and go, but like they are more important than the money. Yeah. And money is a subjective valued thing that, you go to a developing country, our money's worth more. Why is that? It's just different perspectives on what they see as valuable. But relationships, no matter where you go, is standard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's standardized.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Because you go to McDonald's in Sydney and you go to McDonald's in America, it's the exact same thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a brand reputation. And in our industry or our health industry for like you guys as well, people follow people because that's how you treat them and how you make them feel versus the brand. Brands can come and go, but the people is what people follow. Yeah.
We heard that very recently.
Oh, is it? Where at?
We're doing a course on with James Smith,
Oh, yeah.
and that was exactly what he said.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, like word for word,
And we're trying to create a brand without putting the
without
people.
personal brands.
Ah.
Yeah.
How are you guys finding it?
Well, it's shifted
went
our
nowhere.
Well, we created Dynamic Recov, and we were like, we just need to be the face of the brand, but just push the brand.
Yeah.
And then we got slapped across the face when we started listening to James, and he put us back in our place and said exactly what you just said. So people follow people, and the brand is just there.
Yes.
So the Running Physio isn't the Running Physio. The Running Physio is Kevin Vuong.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never say my last name to people.
Oh, you don't?
No, it's just like, oh, what's your last name? Oh, what's your name? It's like Kevin.
Yeah.
Oh, Kevin what? Kevin, and I spell it out to them.
Yeah.
Vuong.
Yeah.
So what does that say? And I just like blurb it out. Vuong.
Kevin the Running Physio.
That's my middle name, and then last name is Running.
Kevin D running.
Yeah.
So if people wanted to find out where you were on socials,
Yeah.
where is it that they can find you?
I think my handle is KV_physio.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the one.
It is? Yeah, thanks.
Brendan checked. Just to make sure.
You know when you get logged out and you're like, have to put in your details again?
Yeah.
I'm like, shit.
What's my
Do I have
name?
any screenshots?
Just to make sure.
Yeah. So yeah, no, the KV_physio.
Yep.
And then YouTube channel is Kev_running physio.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Thanks.
And then Ground Up as well.
Yeah, Ground Up is I think Ground_up_physio. Yeah.
Awesome, bro.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for the insightful conversation. I'm gonna have fun editing this one.
Oh, this will be good.
It's gonna be a laugh. I'm gonna chuck my shoes out after this. All right.
That should be the hook line.
Yeah. That'll be the first snippet in it.
Quantum, a shit running shoe.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm probably gonna put that as the fucking thing.
Only great
Yeah.
for hacking.
Yes.
And raves.
Yeah. Bro, thank you again for coming.
Appreciate
Really
you guys.
appreciate it.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you so much.
I'm gonna put my shoes on now.
Yeah. Let's intertwine our shoes, our toes.
Thank you guys for listening to this week's episode of the Evolve Podcast.
Brendan and I have loved having you throughout this whole podcast. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. And if friends are interested, share it around.
Yeah, make sure you share and tag us on your Instagram posts, and I'll see you soon.
See you guys. Little boogie to finish.